Yeah.
Okay, well, on that conversational note, let's bring on TrueHoop blogger and lockout stakeout extraordinaire, Henry Abbott. Let me get his image up here. Boom, the brain. Henry.
There it is.
Wait, did you just introduce me as an extraordinaire? Like that's a noun? I'm an extraordinaire?
You are.
If you're just gonna come on and rip my grammar, then this is gonna be a quick interview. We should also get this out of the way. Nice headphones.
These are smaller ones than you made fun of earlier. I downgraded or upgraded, whatever.
What 24-hour fitness are you at right now?
Those ones hug your dome a little better. The other ones were like enormous. Those are great.
Get those back if you want.
I wish you would, but I don't think we have time. Well, let's get to some CBA questions here. A lot of people, when the NBA or when the players filed the disclaimer of interest, a lot of people freaked out and they said, now that the lawyers are involved, this is all going to go to hell. And as soon as the lawyers were involved and everyone else kind of got pushed away and Stern and Hunter were able to kind of talk quietly on their own, things got done. Was that something you expected, or is that what happened that shifted the dynamic there?
I tried to get a straight answer from the people involved about that, and everybody swears like, of course, the NBA, they're like, oh, of course we weren't bullied. We could never be bullied. We're the NBA. We're all powerful. And meanwhile, the union, even the union said that they thought the key thing, privately said that they thought the key thing was just the calendar, and that Christmas Day was the first really valuable day, and that was what they preserved. And it's valuable to both parties. The players will get 1.15% of BRI this year. That BRI will be determined by how much money the league makes, and they start making money on Christmas Day. Start making significant money on Christmas Day. So there was a lot to fight for. That deadline was the one that mattered. I don't know that I buy it was the first deadline that anyone cared about. They seemed pretty serious about trying to get it started for the start of the preseason, for the start of the regular season, and on. But this was obviously the one that actually got done.
So a lot of people said that the owners needed, should have given the players an out to kind of like get out with their dignity earlier in the process, and the players would have taken, a deal, basically what we have now. But I have this theory that maybe the players needed to give the owners an out. Like they never really presented a counter to what the owners' steady march against the players' interest until they filed, and then the owners could say, okay, well, this is a reason for us to compromise. Until that point, it seemed like they didn't have any incentive and were almost waiting for the players to give them an incentive to make a deal.
I hear what you're saying. I really think that where it went off the rails was the owners thought that they were giving the players the deal that would get it done. They gave the players basically the same offer, the same kind of things that NFL players accepted. Everybody agreed the NFL is a more successful league, and the NBA players were like, hell no, which it certainly surprised the NBA. The Players Association says they weren't surprised at all when Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Kobe Bryant, etc., sort of took over that meeting. They said that they sent those guys in there to send a message, to show that they had hardliners just like the NBA does. But, in fairness to the players, they were making counteroffers the whole way down. It's just that the owners didn't care what they offered. They were going to get it at 50-50 or lower. And I think, the traditional playbook of how these things go was headed to a 50-50 deal on October 4th, and that was going to be, they thought, the face saving for everybody, but the players just rejected it. Probably rightly so. You could say the players drive more than 50% of the NBA, so maybe they should get more. But it's a moment in history when labor is weak, and the NBA took full advantage of that, and it was ready to bargain hard and did, and the players didn't like the way that felt. To be both at the same time having proved their incredible power through LeBron James, the decision, and basically superstars clearly drive what is of value in the NBA. But at the same time, they haven't accepted players are going to be making less than ever. So, less than they used to. So, tough dance to work out there. It took a long time, and I'm so glad.
Hey, Henry, with the Christmas Day, start date, and fans already feeling slighted for losing 16 games of their season. How insulted should their intelligence be? Because it seems like just a PR ploy of, yeah, you lost a couple months of basketball, but Merry Christmas, here's some presents under the tree for your TV. Like, is this something where it could have been more of like an insulting backlash kind of response from the fans, or is it just that made sense?
I think it's national TV. Like national TV is the big moneymaker for the NBA, and that's when the national TV season started. The whole like insulted fans thing, I think it still is an idea that's alive today because there's still not basketball. But the second there's basketball, it was really, these people they're emailing all of us, I'm sure, right? Like they're so mad they're never gonna watch it, and I don't believe them. Like the people who are just gone and we never heard from them again, they're gone, right? But the people who are emailing us about how mad they are, like they're full of crap. Like they love the NBA, obviously, and if it's on their TVs, I can't imagine why they wouldn't do the normal thing, just walk over and turn it on.
For the negotiations, like once all of the extraneous people involved seemed to get out of the way for a couple of days, they got down to business and they figured it out. Are people like Jeffrey Kessler and those people, like, do their reputations just take a huge hit because it seemed like he failed in the NFL negotiations? It seemed like he was a problem in the NBA negotiations, depending on who you believe. How big of a role did he have in prolonging this or ending it?
Honestly, I just think the league was blown away that somebody would stand up to them, right? Like Kessler was he was the player's hardliner. There were hardliners on both sides, believe me, and but somehow the idea that he's an offensive, aggressive, abrasive personality, and he said no a lot. And he wouldn't agree to little things. Like, the mediator was there. His whole plan was you bring up a bunch of little tiny issues, get agreement on those. Once those are signed off on, then you can move on to the big issues. Everybody feels good because they have these agreements. Kessler was like, yeah, that sounds okay, but we're not going to sign off on that yet. And it just pissed him off. It pissed people off. I don't know that he actually failed, though. Without a Kessler in there, frankly, one guy told me that the point of Kessler is that the NBA believes they can wear Billy Hunter down, like with sheer hours, like putting him in a chair for 13, 15 hours, like he's just going to be tired. And, he's an older guy, he's got some health concerns, they're just going to wear him down. Like, that's been their strategy. And you look at the past, apparently it's worked.
It's so awful.
and Kessler, Kessler was the guy who put him there and have him go 12 hours of just saying no to the NBA. So
they're just filibustering Billy the entire time?
So Billy's pretty fresh, so when it's time to really talk about issues, Billy's good to go, and he's not all worn out by all the
Did Billy take a nap?
Look, Billy, according to everybody, Billy spends long chunks of he's quiet, and he's just sitting there while Kessler's doing his thing. But man, when the real issues come up, like it'd be the same thing when Billy talks to us media, like when it's talking about the minutia of this or that thing, Billy is a bored guy. But when it's the important big money stuff, Billy lights up. He is right on top of everything. And the fact of the matter is, he's gotten his guys good deals. Like this Billy Hunter bashing, it comes mostly from agents, I think, because they just want him replaced for various reasons. He runs the body and oversees them, and a lot of them are really smart negotiators, and they have a certain way they like to negotiate, and he doesn't use their style. But he's done a good job. You got to admit that.